What's up, fight fans? Jordan Kurtz of Colorado Combat Club here. I am with one half of our bantamweight title fight going down at Colorado Combat Club 27 on December 20th at the Stampede. We have Triston, no comparison, Harrison. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, man. It's a good day. About 8 days out from the fight, so in a good mood, positive spirits.
That's awesome. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. Now, before we get too quick into things, where can people give you a follow?
You can follow me on Instagram at no comparison Harrison. That's it.
Awesome, my man. Well, make sure that you guys give Tristan a follow there. That way you can keep tabs on everything leading up into fight day, as well as keep a follow along in his career as he goes forward. He's a very active competitor out here on the scene across multiple combat sports disciplines. So I'm excited to see what this matchup brings on Saturday. But right off the top to start things, how has camp been going for you?
The camp's been great, man. A lot of all around improvements. I'm stronger, faster, smarter, more accurate. I got better striking, better grappling. Great time all around. Lots of improvements.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, is there any changes that you've made for your preparation for this fight, being that it's a title fight, or based on the opponent and the possible styles clash, or is it just kind of preparation business as usual for you?
No, I had to get a little bit more in tune with my grappling for this one. I was getting prepared for a Muay Thai title fight that ended up falling out. And I took this on about months' notice, so I wasn't doing much grappling. I know he's a strong wrestler, so we really just had to kind of dial into that the last 30 days or so.
Okay. Okay. Now, who've been some of the people that you've been working with for this camp?
I've been mostly a lot of it's at RMT with my guys. None of those guys really fight too much. Just some of the guys in my gym, a lot of my trainer, and then I've spent some time up in Westminster with the Subhounds getting ready. Um,
Okay. Okay, yeah. So a little bit of crossing of some people with some of the
yeah.
subhounds who go with Genesis and all of that. So is that any bit of a concern that there's maybe some guys that you guys have common training partners in or anything along those lines, or not really?
It's not a concern to me. I'm going out there to fight. I'm sure he knows my game plan. I'm going out there to give him the hands, and you know what I'm saying, anybody could tell him that. So I'm not really too worried about us cross training. I'm not sure if he is.
Totally
But any
understand.
information that's getting spilled between us knowing the same people, it's not. It don't really affect me.
Okay. Okay. Now, what does it mean for you that this is going to be a title fight here for us and on a big card to close out the year for 2025?
I mean, it's huge. I'm making my Colorado Combat Club debut. And I was kind of on sign of a downside in my career. I had a couple losses, but we're going back up on the winning side. So it feels good to kind of get myself back into that title contention after being on the side of a couple losses.
Okay. And then also you mentioned you're preparing for a Muay Thai fight. You've also had some grappling experience, though maybe not directly within this camp, but you have competed in grappling specifically as well.
Yes, sir.
What did you have to revisit some very specific grappling sessions or certain styles or working on wrestling in particular, or what did that look like for you revisiting the grappling to get prepared for Theorius?
The biggest thing we had to revisit is with the grappling is it's MMA grappling, right? This isn't jujitsu. This isn't wrestling. I don't have to go in there and wrestle this man. This is MMA wrestling and grappling. I can keep my distance better. I don't. It's not a wrestling match. So we had to revisit those ways that MMA grappling differs from just straight up grappling.
Now, kind of bridging the gap because obviously, he's been wrestling since he was a kid, was a D1 wrestler, all of that. But on the flip side of that, he doesn't have the striking specialist experience like you do, and especially maybe with some of the situations, and it's not exactly the same, but you can bridge the gap a little bit with your experience within the clinch. Do you think that
Yes,
that's going to
sir.
be beneficial for you?
Yes, especially with I know he's a little bit shorter, so he does have that wrestling experience. But if I'm able to get him in the clinch, kind of jack him up, wrestling and the clinch are different. Like you said, those are two different styles. So if I'm able to get him in there and make him uncomfortable, that position definitely benefits me.
So now to ask some of the nitty-gritty questions, what are
Yes,
your
sir.
thoughts directly on Theo?
Personally, I don't have any thoughts. I've never met him. I don't know the guy. We've never really interacted. Like we like I said, we work with some of the people closely, so I have a lot of love for his gym and some of the people around him. Um, He's been doing some smack talk on Instagram. I don't really care. We're gonna fight anyway. So I just hope he brings the same energy that he's been bringing online when we get in that cage.
Okay, fair enough there. It's a humble answer there for you. Now, when the cage door gets locked on Saturday, December 20th, how do you see the action playing out?
It's an MMA fight. Anything can happen, right? I don't want to say I necessarily know, but what I see happen is that if I can keep this on the feet, I'm piecing this dude up. If maybe he can manage a takedown, and we can have a 9 minute nitty gritty what grappling match. But if I can keep this on the feet, I don't see him keeping his consciousness too long. If I'm being honest.
Styles make fights, right?
Yes,
In
sir.
this sort of situation, and in some of his past fights, his wrestling is so solid or he's so fast with his level change that he's been able to frustrate some opponents in the process into where maybe they get them a little bit out of their game and wanting to be a little bit overzealous chasing the knockout. So they put pressure on. Do you feel like fighting at range is a little bit more advantageous in this particular scenario to not allow for the pressure to give him his fit-ins for takedowns, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, if he's ready to do a 9 minute like dry hump grappling match with not a lot of action, I'm ready to keep my distance and jab him for 9 minutes.
Okay. Now, do you have any message that you want to deliver to Theorius?
Um, just that I appreciate him accepting the fight. I've had a lot of people say no. I've had a lot of opponents pull out. Man, I've had like 8, 9 fights happen this year that ended up not happening. So I appreciate him accepting it. I know he's been training hard, and I hope he brings the best version of himself because I'm bringing mine.
Awesome. That's a great message right there. Great. Love to hear that. Now, I want to ask you this, switching gears here, folks. We only have a couple of questions left on the clock here with Triston No Comparison Harrison, but is there any song, maybe a quote, a saying, Bible verse, anything along those lines that's telling the tale of Triston for this camp?
Yeah, and it comes from I don't know where he got it from, but it comes from Marcus Taylor. He's a pretty big motivational speaker. And one of his great quotes that I love is a warrior only needs one more opportunity to show the world just how great he is. And that's what it is. I have this opportunity December 20th. We'll remind people who Tristan No Comparison Harrison is.
Awesome. That's another great answer there. Wasn't expecting you to pull the motivational speaker out of the tool bag there, but yeah, that's a phenomenal answer there. And I always like to close off with this question because it's something that is unique to pretty much every fighter that's out there. And especially given that it's the holiday times when there's a lot of good food or temptations all the way around, what is the hardest thing for you to give up while you're in camp and while you're cutting?
Okay, I hate to give out this information, but I don't actually weigh that much more than 125. I don't cut too much weight. I don't really have to give anything up, just the sweets, but I'm not a sweet either. I'm eating good all camp until about weigh-ins. So, I'm not missing out on nothing.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything that maybe just from a discipline or like a vice situation that you have to cut out, or is it pretty clean all the time?
Yeah, I'm always in fight camp, so it's like that's kind of just my life. Like it's always that's training in the gym, not missing days. I don't really like go hang out with anybody. The only time people see me is in the gym. And my days consist of training anytime I'm not at work, and that's just like a constant because I'm always in fight camp.
Okay. Very well said there. Very disciplined man of the martial arts realm, the full on Bushido code through and through, right?
Yes, sir. It's a lifestyle, not a hobby.
Tristan, is there any message out there that you want to get to your friends, family, supporters, coaches, teammates, anyone along those lines? Anyone that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my friends at Rap Muay Thai, my team, my coaches. You know what I'm saying? We are not a big gym. We are a small gym. But we are going up against a lot of the big gyms coming up. We're going against Genesis and Easton in my next fights. So I want to give them a shout out. We're a small gym and we're going right at the big dudes.
Okay, there you have it right there, folks. We're talking with Tristan Harrison. Where can people follow you one last time?
No comparison, Harrison on Instagram.
Make sure that you give him a follow. You'll be able to see everything leading up into fight day this next Saturday. That is going to be December 20th, going down at the Stampede, 2430 South Havana Street. We are cracking the doors at 12. Fights are going to be scheduled to start at right at around 1 p.m. Triston, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely, my man. Well, we'll see you here in a short couple of days. I'm Jordan
Yes,
Kurtz with
sir.
Colorado Combat Club, and we'll see you Saturday.
Yes, sir. Violence is the occasion.
Love it.